the biggest upcoming MMORPGs in 2021. So I actually feel like, what if MMOs make a comeback? Because I feel like they will. Because like, here's the thing, MMOs are slated to just come back and be so good. Like, they're gonna 100%, they're gonna come out, dude. I'm telling you guys, MMOs are the next big thing. Like, it's all about like farming wood and like catching fish and stuff like that. People are tired. I'm not on copium right now. People are tired of all this Fortnite stuff, all this Among Us drama. They just want to, you know, go explore the highlands and kill dragons. All right, that's all it is. Here we go. Let's start the video.
In this video, I'm going to talk about the biggest upcoming MMORPGs. The MMOs that look more on the AAA side of things in terms of scope, budget, and visuals. These are the games that I expect will give everyone a solid 2 weeks minimum worth of playtime once released.
That's a lot of time.
Don't expect to see too many Kickstarter MMOs on this list, as almost all of those games seem to be surrounded by uncertainty as to whether or not they will ever release.
Kickstarter MMOs are always going to be a bit of a kick in the dick, because usually the things like Kickstarter and everything like that, you can never really be sure that any of that stuff is really real. And I don't really trust a lot of the Kickstarter stuff, and maybe that's just me being a paranoid Andy, but I just usually assume that it's somehow fake in one way or another, you know what I mean? Scam Citizen, I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of them. Ashes started as a Kickstarter? No, it didn't. Steven invested his own money into it. It's not even true. Like, yeah, they had a Kickstarter for it, but he invested his own money into it as well.
First, a quick word from today's sponsor. A3 Still Alive is a brand new mobile MMORPG that aims to fuse with the best aspects of Battle Royale to create a unique cross-genre gameplay experience that we haven't seen before. A3 features 2 main game modes, the MMORPG where you level up, obtain powerful gear and progress your character, and the Battle Royale where players can earn rewards that positively impact the progression in the MMORPG. Click the link.
Like, I don't know why they don't make it to where these games are playable on PC. Like, I think that's like the biggest mistake that a lot of these mobile games do, is they don't make them to where they're just playable on PC. Because the odds are that some people would do that. Like with Genshin Impact, I think this is a good example. Like Genshin Impact, they made that playable on PC, and look how big that was. Oh, everybody loved playing that game. And even though obviously it had a lot of those like bullshit fucking, you know, bullshit mechanics, I think overall, like, it would be way better for like having these games break into the mainstream and get people to play them, because playing a game and then knowing that you can log on to that same game on your phone is so good. Like, I can guarantee you people would do that. Think about how many people have like different like, you know, Google like screen sharing devices on their phone so they can like do their dailies in WoW while they're like at work or something. Yeah, OSRS, it's a great example. Like, I think they're just completely shooting themselves in the foot. Like, I hate the, I don't really hate it. Like, the thing is, I don't like whenever games that exist beforehand get pay to win mechanics, but I'm okay with games that are just at the beginning pay to win, right? Or like you have to pay for other things, right? Because they're free. Like, I'm not really a huge fan of that kind of stuff, but if it starts at the beginning, I'm generally okay with it.
Link in the description below to download A3 Still Alive now.
There it is. Crimson Desert.
First up, we've got Crimson Desert. This is the new upcoming flagship title from the Black Desert Online developer Pearl Abyss. This game was initially announced 1 year ago and seems to be a more PvE and story-focused version of Black Desert, but apparently it will still have all the stuff that people enjoyed about BDO, such as life skilling, PvP, and its top-tier action combat system.
Dude, I fucking love, like, I remember Lazy Peon made a lot of videos about BDO back in the day. Like, I watched every single one of his videos because I was really into BDO at the same time. And I'm actually really, like, I'm going to play all of these games. Like, from now on, I'm going to play every single new MMO that comes out, at least for the first day, just to see how it is. Because I think it'll be really fun.
Actually expect we'll start to see a lot more of Crimson Desert in 2021, as Pearl Abyss seem to be a developer that works extremely fast when it comes to making MMOs. It only took them just over 3 years to make the base version of Black Desert, and they churn out content for that game rather frequently. As Crimson Desert is a Korean MMO, I fully expect the game to have a lot of pay-to-win / pay-for-convenience aspects, but I also expect to be able to get a lot of fun out of the game as a free player, similar to the way BDO BDO is much more playable without a big cash investment nowadays.
See, the thing is, like, one thing that BDO has, like, BDO does have, like, pay-to-win stuff, but I'm okay with a few little things like that if the game is a buy-to-play game. Because if it's a game that's buy-to-play and they're continuously developing it, I'm okay with them having something that's kind of like PoE having, like, the thing is they have microtransactions in the game, but let's be honest, it's hard as fuck to play PoE without the microtransactions. Like, imagine trying to do maps or do anything in PoE without microtransactions. It would be almost impossible. But the game's fucking free. So how much are you going to complain about it? Like, I'm okay with some things that are monetized as long as it's not like double or triple monetization. That's what I'm not a big fan of.
Compared to when it first launched.
Yeah.
New World is an upcoming open-world MMORPG by Amazon Game Studios that's currently expected to be released in spring 2021, following quite a few delays. After playing both the alpha and beta of this game, I had a decent amount of fun with it, but there were so many fundamental game-breaking issues that the delay was absolutely needed. It's kind of hard to say what New World will actually be at release. The game started out as a sandbox survival PvP MMO,
and now it's more PvE.
But over time it seems to be transitioning into more of a standard theme park. Regardless of how it ends up, I think New World will be a game that, when finished, will give at least 1 to 2 weeks of fun and get better over time with expansions and updates.
I hope so. I'm looking forward a lot to New World. I am. I think New World is going to be great. Yeah, New World is going to be fucking amazing, man. Like, I'm excited to play that. Like, the thing is, like, a 2-week game. Think about it like this. We are on day 3 of Demon's Souls, and I'm about to beat it. Think about that. That's 3 days. This game was like $60, $70. Like, so yeah, 2 weeks for a fucking game, playing it all the time. I think it's pretty fucking good. Really, I think it's pretty fucking good.
September 2020, it was announced that ArcheAge 2 is in development and being led by Jake Song, the lead developer for Lineage 1 and 2, as well as ArcheAge.
Look at the graphics.
We don't know a whole lot about ArcheAge 2,
trash.
other than there's currently over 50 developers working on it. The game is being made in Unreal Engine 5.
Wait a second.
Over 50 developers working on it. The game is...
Yeah, I think actually this game might be pretty good, now that I think about it. I'm just thinking about it, like, yeah, this game is a pretty good game. Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, this isn't the new... Okay, this isn't ArcheAge 2? Okay. Yeah, I was thinking to myself, my God, this looks like the old fucking game. Like, didn't ArcheAge come out in, like, 2012 or 2011? Like, yeah, okay, well, if they're bringing in a new game, that's awesome. But, like, you know, we'll wait to see what it looks like.
Being made in Unreal Engine 5 and aims to be a true next-gen large-scale AAA MMO that's a combination of Lineage and WoW. Given Jake Song's history, I expect ArcheAge 2 will have an aspect of castle sieges and large-scale PvP, but also feature world bosses, lots of grinding, and a long-term sense of progression.
Yeah.
Hopefully they've learned their lesson from the fundamentally awful labor system that ArcheAge 1 had. As for the release date, we're currently looking at roughly 2022/2023 for this one.
That's a long way.
Ashes of Creation is probably the most highly anticipated upcoming Western fantasy MMO at the moment, and there's good reason for that. On paper, this is one of the most ambitious MMORPGs ever attempted, second only to Star Citizen.
Yeah.
If you've never heard of...
Well, that's the thing with Star Citizen is Star Citizen never actually came out. That's the difference. Like, Star Citizen... You gotta pay, what is it, like $7,000 for a fake-ass spaceship? It's not even a real spaceship. You spend $7,000 on that shit. $30,000 spaceship. Ashes of Creation come out either? The thing is, like, they are already releasing, like, they're gonna bring out Ashes of Creation. Like, yes, obviously it's a very ambitious project. Maybe not every feature will make it to launch, but that's okay, right? I mean, because they could just put them in later on if they feel like it works. The thing is, like, Ashes of Creation, they're throwing a lot of shit on the wall, and I'm sure some of this shit won't stick, right? Like, for whatever reason, the way that they envision players to interface with the system is not actually how players interface with the system, and it needs to change. That's the way it goes, man.
But before, Ashes of Creation is aiming to be an open-world sandbox/theme park hybrid MMO that offers content for both PvP and PvE players in the form of dungeons, raids, world bosses, sieges, open-world PvP, guild vs guild, battlegrounds, player housing, and so on, all tied together by the game's innovative node system in which players build up the world.
They have to make the combat good. Like, if Ashes of Creation combat is good, it's going to be the next big game. If it's not good, it'll be the next game. Like, that's it. Like, it has to be good. Combat has to be fucking good. Atlas, I missed out on Atlas. I should have played Atlas on release, man. Like, I thought so many people had so much fun. I thought like McConnell talked about playing it. Like, I feel so sad I didn't play Atlas. Like, I really do. What about Blessed Online? Well, I did play Blessed Online. Remember that? I played with Soda and Shroud that day. $150 for a fucking game. You know, the funny thing is, like, I bought the cheap pack. I think Soda he bought like the all-in pack. It was like the $250 pack, man. And like, I remember it was so bad that Steam actually refunded the games. It was so awful, man.
2020 has actually been a great year for Ashes of Creation and has shown significant progress over previous years, with many core game systems working, people having tested the game, and this project no longer seeming like a pipe dream. Ashes of Creation goes into its Alpha 1 testing phase in spring 2021, so expect to hear a lot more about it then, but realistically the game is still a solid 2+ years out from a full release. Ashes of Creation is such a big project that it's hard to even say what this game is in this kind of short video, so if you'd like to find out more about it, then check out my video.
Ashes of Creation is not an MMO, it is a fantasy world simulator, which is something that I thought that WoW used to be, and that's why I was a huge fan of it. The more things that you have in a game like that, the more it becomes that's the word I use. I'll be right back.
Genuinely the most exciting upcoming MMORPG.
Yeah, that video put Ashes of Creation on the map, man. Like, it really did. Like, Lazy Peon is like he's probably the most influential like MMO YouTuber that there is, and I remember whenever he made that video, like, the hype levels for Ashes of Creation went up so much because, like, I watched it, Shroud watched it, Summit watched it, everybody fucking watched this video.
Elyon is an upcoming Korean MMORPG that initially started out under the name Ascent Infinite Realm. This game is being developed by Bluehole, the same people who made Terra.
Didn't Bluehole make PUBG? Let's not. Maybe I won't play every MMO that comes out.
And was initially announced late 2017. Following a beta test in 2019, the game received some fairly negative feedback, so the developers basically went dark for a year and completely changed the game's combat and many fundamental gameplay systems, rebranding itself from Ascent Infinite Realm to Elyon. After playing Ascent Infinite Realm, these changes are definitely a good thing.
It just looks like it looks like Black Desert. Like, the gameplay and everything, like the dashing around, like the screen, it just looks like fucking Black Desert, man. 100%. Like, I don't know, like, the aesthetics reminds me of, like, kind of like a mix between Final Fantasy and Warcraft 40K. And, like, yeah, that's cool. But, I mean, I don't know, this gameplay doesn't really, like, super excite me.
Then Infinite Realm kinda sucked. The combat was clunky, the flying combat was a gimmick, and I didn't really see much potential in the game. Now, with the changes since the transition to Elyon, the combat looks ultra fluid and fast-paced.
That's awesome.
The large-scale PvP seems really nice, and it seems like a more boots-on-the-ground fantasy experience with a small amount of flying content rather than that being the focus of the game.
Yeah,
Elyon goes into Korean.
I think flying content's like one of those ideas. It's like one of those ideas that like developers have, and they're like, "Oh, this would be so cool, man! Oh yeah, wow, it's gonna be awesome, man! They're gonna fly around and shoot each other with the guns in the air. Oh man, yeah!" And then it actually makes it. It gets into the gameplay, and it just sucks. It just sucks, and that's the problem. And especially, like, I can guarantee you, like, if Bluehole's making this game, I don't even need to play it to know what's going to happen. You're going to shoot at a ship, you're going to hit it on your screen, and it's going to fucking miss. Because that's what happened in PUBG, and I played that game for 4 fucking years, man. I still see Summit playing that game, and sometimes that shit happens to him, man. He goes behind a wall, he's still dead. It's ridiculous.
In
Blue
December,
balls, yeah.
and already has publishing deals set up for
At some
EU
point
and
flying.
NA with Kakao
I'm
Games.
surprised you're still playing.
So I expect this to be an MMO we'll see release in 2021.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Star Citizen is without a doubt the most highly funded upcoming MMORPG, as well as the most ambitious. This game
The most highly funded. Oh, wow. That's a really good... The most highly funded. Ah, okay. So that's what they call it now.
has been in active development for 8 years already, and still doesn't seem to be too close to a full release. Despite this, some parts of the game are playable, and you're able to walk around, check out the shooting mechanics, and fly a bunch of spaceships around. I do think Star Citizen will release one day, but with the average MMO taking 5 years to make, and this clearly being one of the most ambitious games ever attempted, I wouldn't expect to see a full release before 2023. If and when it does release though, it will be every sci-fi gamer's wet dream. Earlier
we don't have some footage of the game. Lord of the Rings on. Are they actually
in 2020? It was announced that Amazon Game Studios will be developing a new Lord of the Rings MMORPG that we initially heard rumors of back in 2018.
Dude, I feel like a Lord of the Rings MMO isn't gonna be that great. I know it might sound weird, but I don't know if it's gonna be that great. And here's why I don't think that it's going to be that good. Here's what I'm worried about. Now listen to what I'm saying, okay? I'm the biggest Lord of the Rings fan that there is, okay? The problem that I see with it is the fact that the storyline of the game follows like one path of like what's going on. So like, for example, people played, I remember this is a problem, I used this example actually probably whenever I talked about Lord of the Rings Online last time, is Matrix Online. People played Matrix Online to be Neo, Morpheus, or Trinity. They didn't play it to be, you know, any other random character. And the reason why World of Warcraft worked so well as an MMO is because they had such a multifaceted story that all of the players were intimately familiar with different parts of. So with Lord of the Rings, I think everybody's going to go into Lord of the Rings and they're going to think to themselves, I want to be Gandalf. I want to be Aragorn. I want to be, like, fucking Gimli. I want to be Legolas, or I want to be, you know, Elrond, or, you know, one of the main characters. Is a huge narrative hurdle. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know. That's my biggest concern with the game.
We don't know a whole lot about this MMO other than it will be set long before the events of The Lord of the Rings, so it's essentially set in the world, but the developers have a blank slate when it comes to story. Other than that, we know AGS plans for the game to have a unique art style with breathtaking visuals.
So it's
Even
kind of
though
like, wow.
not much is known about this game, it's safe to say with such a big IP and the manpower of Amazon Game Studios, this is intended to be a pretty huge upcoming MMO.
I think we're going to be able to see how good this game is based off of how good New World is, because I think Amazon Game Studios are making New World too. So if they're going to be making 2 MMOs at the same time, that sounds insane. So like if New World turns out to be really good, then I think we can actually expect Lord of the Rings Online to be good too. But as I said, I just have a lot of concerns with this game. I'll be honest, I do. And you know, I hope, I really want to say this, guys, I hope so much that I'm wrong.
Core Punk is one of the few upcoming MMOs on this list that you will likely be able to play fairly soon. This is an isometric open-world MMORPG that gameplay-wise seems like half MOBA, half MMO. The game has stylized graphics, PvP, dungeons, crafting, gathering, quests, and all the stuff that you'd expect from an MMO. This game isn't the most high-budget, ambitious game on this list, but from what I've seen so far, it seems to be well animated and fairly polished, so I'm actually excited in checking this one out. Expect closed beta sometime December 2020, and a release sometime in 2021.
I don't know, do you guys care about this game? Do you guys want to see me play this game or not? Like, I feel like it looks okay, right? But it's like obviously Torchlight MMO, right? Or like Diablo MMO. And no, maybe I'll put like maybe a couple of hours into the game and just see how it's like, you know, what it's like. Like I'm doing this kind of like with Godfall too, and like just seeing how that game is too. And just so I have like a better understanding of, type of games that are out, second channel content. Yeah, something like that. Worth it, yeah.
Project TL is an upcoming isometric MMORPG by NCSoft that's gone through many delays over the years.
What game did NCSoft make? Lineage 2? All right, well, I'll say this. This game, isometric games are not necessarily bad. Like, I'm not like 100% against isometric games, but one problem that I have with them is that it does limit to some degree like your own personal immersion with a game. So I think an isometric MMO is like, it's almost like it's like an oxymoron. And I think it could work. The combat looks cool, but like it could work, maybe not.
This game initially started out its life as Lineage Eternal back in 2011.
Yeah.
But after having issues, the game went through some massive changes, upgraded to Unreal Engine 4, and rebranded itself as Project TL, releasing a trailer that got people quite excited.
Yeah, I watched that. It was on like a
2017.
bridge or something.
3 years later, without a whole lot of news, and we recently got news that Project TL is aiming for a 2021 release
That'd be
on
badass.
both PC and console, according to an NCSoft infographic. No new gameplay has been released for Project TL, but with so many years of development and financial backing from NCSoft, I expect this to be a really big MMO if it does actually release.
If it actually does release, that's a big question. I think that like these types of games, like what they really live and die by again is like the combat and the systems. So like if the combat and the systems are good, then everything will be okay. And if the combat and the systems are bad, then the game's going to be bad. It doesn't matter like what graphics it has. Like OSRS is probably the best example of this. Like OSRS has terrible graphics, but it has great systems. And the system, and it has good combat, or at least that's not good combat, but it has combat that people appreciate. I don't really know like the best word for it. It has combat that people like. And because of that, people play the game. It doesn't matter about the graphics or anything like that. You have to have good systems and good combat. If you do those two things, you succeed as an MMO.
Blue Protocol is an upcoming anime, PvE, and story MMORPG that I personally expect to be releasing sometime in 2021.
I can't wait.
I had the chance to play this game during its beta in April 2020, and it was actually a decent amount of fun. This is an instanced hub-style game with fairly reasonable-sized zones, world bosses, dungeons, quests,
super cool.
crafting, and a heavy focus on storytelling with cutscenes that make you feel like you're watching an
Yeah. I don't know, guys. It could be good. Could be good, guys. Could definitely be good.
Feel like you're watching an actual anime. This isn't an overly ambitious MMO, and it definitely won't appeal to PvP fans, but for people who are looking for a casual PvE anime MMO where you can just hang out and craft
just
gear
like
in a good-looking world
2.
and enjoy some nice
That's what it seems like to me.
this is a game you will most likely enjoy for a few weeks at least. But that's it for this video, guys. Sorry if my voice sounded off today. I recorded this with a lung infection, so I was really short on breath. What MMOs on this list are you looking forward to the most, and why? Which ones do you think will succeed and fail? Let me know in the comments below. Shout out to Netmarble for sponsoring this video, links for that in the description below, and feel free to follow me on social media. Thanks for watching, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you again really soon.
I forgot about that Crimson Desert game. Like, I forgot all about that. I mean, maybe it'll be cool to play. I don't know. I mean, like, I'll definitely play it on release because of how much I enjoyed Black Desert on release. So it's like all of these games, I just hope that there's something like more like that has more longevity, that gives you a reason to continue playing them, man. Have you tried Albion? No, I haven't. Let me see here. Wearing a mask? Yes, we're safe from the video. It's okay. Probably watched hundreds of these videos for the past 5 years and nothing whatsoever has come out. That actually is kind of true. I feel like I've watched hundreds of these videos for the past 5 years and nothing whatsoever has come out. Yeah. 2019 and 2020 was ripped for MMORPGs. Yeah, it sucked, man. My thoughts on watching this. Oh shit, here we go again. Every year it seems like we get this gets made and almost nothing ever comes out. But just because Peon is bro, I'll click and like on it. Yeah, I mean, we want to watch this, right? I mean, people want to get excited about games, even though if they're not going to come out like necessarily right away. I'm happy my grandchildren will have a chance to play Star Citizen. Oh shit, man. Honestly, 1 to 2 weeks of full game time for an MMO is just a no for me. If that's all you're getting out of it, then you might as well not bother. The thing is, like, I wonder like what this guy does in like what MMO lasted for more than 2 to 3 weeks, or sorry, like 1 to 2 weeks of like just solid gameplay. I wonder like what that benchmark is, because I feel like you can beat almost any game if you play like I do. In like 1 to 2 weeks, like in Classic WoW, for example, like we got 60 and we beat Molten Core in the second week. Like we beat all the content in the game. Like at that point, it's just doing it again. Yeah, the thing is, like, most people don't play like I do though. Solid 2 weeks minimum of playtime for a AAA MMORPG. How low do we set the bar over the last years? I think this is just completely unrealistic. I do. I think this is completely unrealistic. Amazon Game Studios have already demonstrated to be maximally incompetent, so I have zero hope for the new Lord of the Rings MMO. I don't know about them being maximally incompetent. I'd like to get on like either the dev that we had on last time, Mike, or like another dev to talk about New World whenever the new the next non-NDA thing comes out, because I'd like to have like more community interaction with devs. I think that'd be fucking awesome, man.